current matter of business is the capital improvement program. Aaron's here to discuss that.
Right. So I did the summary page. If you guys looked through the capital improvement program and had any questions, let me know. But this is basically summarizing from last year's ask to this year's and some noted things that may have made the changes and difference up and down. So Mount Hope Cemetery last year was $170,000. This year is $310,000, which is a difference of more than $140,000. The main change here is they are adding their mowers back into their CIP that are rotation, and then they're asking for water lines for yard hydrants so that people can water the flowers and plants that they plant out at the cemetery. The street department had $750,000 last year, and then they're asking for $660,000 for the CIP this year. They're down about $90,000. They did get some large equipment that was purchased, and that's why that's kind of gone down. Fire department, $1,370,000, and then last year CIP. This year's $1.4 million, and it's a difference of $35,000. Basically, their biggest thing is they removed storage building, but then they added a purchase of a vehicle, which kind of, we also added the training facility on that one too. So they had talked about doing a garage before for storage and everything, but they felt that the training facility was more important. So that's kind of where the changes were there. Police department is $3,221,043, and this year they're asking for $822,335, which is a difference of $2,398,708. Basically, I think most of you know that they removed the police station, so that was a lot of the money. They did add a few new items on there for equipment for their drone, their continuing maintenance on some programs and different things like that. But the big change was the police station was removed. Dykeman Golf Course, $4,433,000 last year, and this year is $2,116,284, and it's down $2,316,716. Basically, they took out their full ask for the clubhouse because of donations and just put in the amount that they have already asked the council for. So what's in there is what they had requested from council. Parks Department, $4,248,000. This year, $5,185,000, which is up $937,000. One of the things that upped it, because it is a big cost, is the possible trail connection from Broadway to Mall Road. Trying to connect there, that's been a problem with High Street not having sidewalks. IT department was $184,000. This year request was $302,000, up $118,000, and they're wanting to do new computer equipment and office remodel. The building commissioner and the planning department do not have anything in this CIP. They did have $35,000 for a vehicle for each department last year. The building commissioner did receive that, and the planning department is currently doing mileage. All expenses is the next thing. So in looking at that, I just kind of show you what was last year's total, and that's total for all 4-year requests. And that was $14,446,043. And then this year's request is $10,800,619, which is a difference of, they're down $3,645,424. And then I also present just the general fund changes. So last year's CIP was $4,533,000, and this year's $5,637,000. So up $1,104,000. Any questions for me? And obviously the report does go into more detail and their justifications of why they wanted those additional changes in their CIP.
Anyone have any questions? Want to look through at any of the specific requests, or are we good to move forward?
I'm not hearing you, John.
Oh, sorry. I didn't realize this was Sitting up there. I said, are we good with this, or does anyone have any questions or want to look at anything further?
No, I think I think it's important, especially with Haley here, that we explain this is kind
Yeah.
of like the template that we're going to work off of when we put the budget
Yeah, so I
together.
can explain kind of what this
Oh,
is.
did you?
I can. I have.
Oh, please do.
No.
Please
I'm
do.
Erin Shaver, I'm Planning Director. So the Capital Improvement Program is something we put together each year for the coming 4 to 5 years for each department, so that you know when budget season comes around, you kind of expect what each department's going to need. So even if it's something that's out 3 years, sometimes it may come up earlier, but you know that that's something that they know that's going to be coming up. And so it helps with budgeting, understanding what's really high importance and what things may be coming down the pipeline that you need to basically budget for. So that's what it kind of goes through, and then each department actually, it goes through the funding sources that the city has, and all of that, and then it goes from each department and it says exactly what they're wanting each year and their justifications of why they need those things. Obviously, when you go through budget, they'll kind of give you even more detail, but it gives you a general idea of that. So each department has that. And then at the end, kind of what I went through, we have the general fund, or the, all of it together, the costs, and then the general fund information. And then on the back, just kind of explaining what urgent and necessary projects are, and that some other, another funding source of the tax increment finance. So that's redevelopment commission, and then the host community and solid waste, which are other funds, but they're not your typical city funds, like the beginning, like lit and those
Right.
type of things. So, and then on the very back, it has the full, mine didn't, but I hope I sent it to you guys. The full Excel sheet, basically, which takes all of this information and just puts it in numbers, basically, for you guys to look at. So, any questions on that?
I don't think so.
We do it every year, and we sit down with the department heads and kind of go through it with them each year.
Thanks, Aaron.
Yep.
Anyone have anything? Any objection to moving it forward to, I believe it's on tonight's agenda, right, Dwayne?
It's on the
Yep,
agenda.
okay. All right, hearing no objections, we'll move it forward to tonight's meeting then. Is there any other business before this committee? No, and at 5:38, I'll call the Planning and Economic Development Committee closed.
It's 5:39, and I'll call to order the Parks Board meeting. And we have a couple of resolutions. Jan's going to talk about soft drinks and food trucks.
We haven't raised soft drink fees forever. So, what we found is that we're charging $1 for everything, and bottles have gone up to $1.31 and $1.36 in the last year. So, it didn't it was important to get these raised. So, that is in our regular resolution for fees that we usually do, but it needs to be done now. We can't wait till we do the whole package of fees, which we'll do later in the fall. But anyway, we have 4 different vending locations, one at McHale Complex, the Houston Park, restroom at the pool, and also at the maintenance facility. So we sell cans at Houston and at the pool, and those have remained to be 50 cents a can for us. So we make 50 cents on each can that's purchased. So it's limited because every time we put a soft drink machine somewhere, it gets vandalized or something. These ones that are where they're at now are have proved to be okay. They haven't gotten damaged by people. So anyway, that's where we're at.
How much, I'm just curious, how much pop do we actually sell?
I sat down, I worked with Kelly on stuff, and I didn't ask her how much overall. It seems like we were up to 2,000 to 3,000 last year in overall sales.
Sales or profit? I mean, what goes into your fund?
That was expenses, yeah.
And do we pay, so do we buy our pop through the vendor?
From Pepsi, directly from Pepsi. And they deliver it to us, and they've increased lots of prices for lots of people, so,
Oh, I'm sure.
yeah, so, anyway, yeah, it's about 2,000 to 3,000 is about how much we have to pay out, so, anyway, so we can't really afford to lose any money on this. We don't pay that, it's not that big of a part of our budget, but it's something that we need to resolve quickly, so. Any questions on that? And if it's possible, if you could waive a second reading on that, would be helpful, because then we can get it done. It's just that many more so we don't lose, so.
Even the cans everywhere have gone up to 75 cents, most places,
We charge $1.
for the cans.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
Yep, so, I mean, because everything,
Like, so-
because most everything has been $1 wherever we've had it, so it was easy just to go ahead and set it at $1. So the cans are still $1. We weren't asking to change that right now.
You're talking about the bottles?
It's just bottles, right. I think they're 20-ounce bottles is what they are.
So their fee is, or what they charge us, is that take care of like the machines themselves and all that?
Yeah. So they're charging us for soda pop $1.31, and Gatorade is $1.36. So, and actually water is 66 cents is what they've been charging us, so. So we actually were doing okay with water.
So you're gonna leave it at $1 then, or raise it all?
We're gonna raise it from $1 to $2. So everything except for cans will be $2. Yeah.
Does anyone else have an issue with the increase in pops and water?
No?
All right, Jan, what about these food vendors?
Okay, and then the next thing we did a pilot program for a couple years, and this year we actually had more people really interested in having food trucks or whatever at the parks for different things, especially like at Houston Park, the La Benedencia, the one that's right there on Broadway, right up here with the red one right there at the old marsh. He's doing it regularly with the soccer program, and so we ended up going with $150 for a 6-month period, or $40 per commercial booth, or $25 per nonprofit. And actually, the 40 and 25 we use that for July 4th. Those prices are still the same, but we had to add the $150 for the 6-month period. And then I've also included what our policy, I guess, if you will, or our programming, how we expect them to do. We do expect for them to get a mobile permit application, and a sample menu, a certificate of liability insurance, which names the city of Logansport as additional insured, a Cass County Health Department temporary food establishment permit, and then a schedule of parking and vending times, or the things that they have to do, so.
Jan, is that the person that was selling stuff in Spencer Park? Are they still doing that on the south end of the park? They were there a couple of years ago. I think she was selling ice cream and candy and all that kind of stuff.
No.
That was a
You mean
sugar
in
shack.
you talking about it in the Sugar Shack?
I don't know what it was.
At the old concession stand?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's not who this is,
No, I just wondered if they were still doing
She hasn't been there. She was unable to meet the terms of her agreement, and so we asked her to move out, so.
So are these fees, like, did you look at other cities when you decided what these fees, the 150 for 6 months? I mean, did you gauge those with other places, or is that?
Well, you know, yeah, I mean, it might be too small of a amount, I don't know, we'll just see. You know, I guess it was hard to decide on a time or a figure of 150. Should we, I mean, to really encourage people to do it, that's a good figure, you know, to do it for 6 months. So I don't know, maybe if you guys feel like that needs to be more or less, you know, I don't know. But we figured that was a good route for starting the program, not really knowing how successful it will be or not be. I thought $150 was a good place to start.
You run the parks, I'm good with what you come up with.
Do what?
I said, you run the parks, I'm good with what you guys are coming up with.
I know, but I also take into consideration other people's ideas and
I was
opinions.
just curious. I mean, the only thing that I wonder, and I've been walking a lot on Mondays, and I noticed there's been a guy, like after they play soccer, that's out there cleaning up, and have you made them, are they responsible for the cleanup? Is the truck guy responsible?
Not
You
the
know,
truck,
It's a
not-
combination of,
Yeah, that was the agreement we worked out with we're calling them the Logansport Adult Soccer, and they come on Sunday afternoons, there at Houston. And, yes, that cleaning up after themselves was a big part of that, and we actually did a memorandum of understanding with them, and they've really exceeded our
I was
expectations.
gonna say, it's much better than the last
Yes.
go-round.
Yes, but, you know, part of it is we know who we're working with, and we, you know, had a chance to talk with them ahead of time and talk about our concerns, and they were, you know, they're not actually a league yet, but I'm hoping that at some point they do become a league, and that way then they can get their insurance, because right now they don't have insurance, because it's, you know, so that's why they're doing it on a rental. They rent every Sunday afternoon, and so it's kind of salty for them. So that takes care of having that group there, so.
Well, no, I've been real impressed with how much better it was this time, because it was horrible the
Yeah.
last go-round.
You know, we talked about rotating their games in different fields, so they're not wearing out in one specific field all the time, and you know, picking up trash, helping maintain the restrooms. You know, my guys have been very pleased with their response to how well they're doing. So we're going to get them going again here in August. So anyway, I think we're done for the spring, I think. So, but they're a good group.
Yeah.
And having the food truck there with that group helps them all pay for what we need to collect. So it's really been a good win-win for everybody.
So what do we charge them to rent it each time?
We're charging them $90. So basically, because the shelter itself is $90 for a whole day, and so that's the figure that we've told them. Because they don't have a nonprofit, they don't have any kind of organizational structure or anything like that, and since they're not providing insurance to the city, then the city's insurance has to take care of whatever happens. So that's why we're charging them the full amount every time. So, and then they're planning to do it again this fall. So I think we had a $1,500 bill for this fall. So that might be a motivation to get that that league set up.
Are they painting the fields themselves?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't, in terms of the food truck and the fee, this is all kind of new. I mean, you know, I don't really. I'm fine with 150.
I'm good with it.
I'm good too. I just had one question. Just want to make sure I understood this. So if they got like the 6-month permit, it says they don't need to purchase an additional daily permit. So if they were
Right,
to
so
do
if
it
they-
in like May, they'd still be good for like the 4th of July and
Yeah, so if they sign up for 4th of July as well, they're already paid, so we don't have to charge them again, so.
I just wanted to make sure I understood that. I'm fine with it.
Haley, how about you?
Yep, that's fine.
Okay.
Anything else, Jan?
Nope, that was all. Does this need to go through finance then too, or?
No, I got it on the agenda. We'll just rubber stamp it and move it on to tonight. Let's talk, can we talk about our transfer request?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. What did you do?
I don't think she sent you the information, Amy, but it's in our packet.
Okay.
It's way towards the back, maybe.
No, it's.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't even,
It's fixed up, right?
Yeah.
do you have that, Dwayne?
Yeah, I'm trying to pull it up on the council packet. Anything that worked the way it's supposed to.
See?
Mine's gray. You sure it's not a gray sheet? Uh,
2023-120.
There you go.
Sorry, I'm not Dave.
It's okay. Keeps me from looking.
I'm sorry, I totally spaced that one out.
Pardon?
We did that a couple weeks ago, so I didn't think about it being.
And I'm stalling. We got a public hearing at 6, so we have to sit here and do nothing
Oh,
till
do
6.
you? Okay.
This will work out good.
Oops, there's the sheet.
Oh, there's the green sheet, yeah. Okay. So we've had to, so this is primarily, we had approximately $8,000 left over from the purchase of the outdoor lift. It was that much less than what we had expected. And so what we're trying to do is put more of money back into contractual services, primarily because we put in new signs around the parks, rural signs and on the trails, in the parks, on the courts. Can't think where else, but anyway, they were significant. They were like, and we had to take those out of contractual services, which I was not expecting. So, and the other thing is we have not been able to find a reliable person to take care of all the rentals that that we do with both the Penman Building and the McHale Complex, where we have to check these people in, open them up, and be there to check them in, and then somebody has to come back and check them back out. And so what we've done is we've put Army of Five has agreed to do that for us at a rate of $40 per rental, which is only like $10 more than basically what we were paying in personal services to do that. I'm not sure why it says cleaning fees. But anyway, Army of Five is going to be doing that now, and so we needed more money in contractual services. So to get to get where we needed to be right now, we needed to return some funds that we moved around to get bills paid now, before you were able to act on this. So when it says return funds, that's because we need to put money back into those funds that we've already used money from. Borrowing from
So
Peter
you-
Paul, I guess.
So you used your tree service fund for something else, and now you're replenishing it with,
Yes, yeah.
same with the chemicals?
Pardon?
Same, and that's what it means with the chemicals
Yeah.
also?
Uh-huh.
So these, and those were the amounts you transferred out to pay the
Yep.
other things?
I think we had moved those to like miscellaneous supplies, which takes into all sorts of purchases. And I think we moved it from tree service into contractual services to pay the immediate bills, so.
I think the 2,000 that came out of tree service paid for your, part of your sign,
Signs, yeah.
if I remember right.
I guess the only other question I'd have, Jan, is you don't think you need that capital improvement money if you have all your capital improvements purchased, or?
Well, we still, I mean, there's still the money for the shelter, the $100,000 for the Spencer Park shelter. There's still 37,000 is what we've set aside for the new shelter that we're putting in at Fairview Park. The walkway for Spencer Park, we did at 35,000 for that, and I don't know when that's going to happen. It's up to Central Paving, what their schedule's going to be like. Can't think what else is on in that. But the actual purchases, we're pretty well done with those.
So is Central Paving going to put pavement where the
Yeah,
sidewalk
we're going to
was?
take out that sidewalk on the north side of Spencer Park, along High Street, and take out that concrete that's only like this wide and put in a pavement surface that's 8 foot wide. So,
That's it. I used to push my baby jogger around that, and every time somebody come, I'd have to, I like that.
we had hoped to do that when we did the trail from Mull Road to Spencer Park, but I don't think it's going to happen this year, so we're going to go ahead and try to get that done now, so.
I'm with Amy, only it's wide enough for one.
Oh, I know, the other thing we've not done is our playground purchases. We have not made those purchases yet, so, because I've kind of been in a holding pattern to see what's happening with Patriot Park, so.
Thanks, Jan.
If there's not anything else, I'll call the meeting to close at 5:59.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jan.
All right, so we're going to hold a public hearing over the tax abatement for Matthew Warren.
Taylor? Bill Cuppy with the Chamber and Economic Development.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you. I guess the 1 minute on what tax abatements are would probably help. Companies, when they're looking to invest, they'll sometimes ask for tax abatement. And they usually come to me, and with that, I will put together numbers for the council. It has like 6 different things we put together to show they're willing to do this, will you guys do this? It's a tax forgiveness over a certain period of years. They take that decision, they weigh it to see if they want to make that investment or not. A lot of times, I would say 9 out of 10 investments that are done, they don't ask us for an abatement, but sometimes they do. And with that, we have 11 companies that have 19 abatements total. So I'm not sure if you got the whole rundown or not. But the public hearing is for Matthew Warren. And briefly of why we have a public hearing. Basically, every year, whatever you approve has to go through a compliance. You have to reapprove them every year, basically. If you do nothing, they're automatically approved. They're due May 15th. We have until June 30th to decide one way or the other. But if you do nothing, they're automatically approved. So when there's one in question, we have to hold a public hearing. I think this is our first. So we published a public hearing for 6 o'clock tonight for Matthew Warren. With that, if you really analyze the Indiana code, you're really looking for, if you're going to deny them, it's basically looking for things that are out of their control. So COVID, for instance, they passed everybody for COVID just because it was kind of, out of their control. So I would think it depends on how we determine the terminology for out of their control. I would see it as, they chose to move a plant to go somewhere else, like Chicago or Lafayette, or they shut down a line. That's their control. Out of their control would be things like COVID. So with Matthew Warren, I've had a lot of questions to him in the last couple of days. They provided a lot of input. Basically, if you look at their numbers in 12/31 of 21, we basically have, let me get this. They had 171 employees for $9.5 million payroll. When they fill out their compliance, they fill theirs out for May 15th, 2023. You can either do that, or you can fill it out for the previous year, 12/31. So for comparisons, on 12/31 of 2021, they had 171 employees for $9.5 million. On December 31st of 2022, they had 184 employees for $9.8 million. So technically, they had an increase this past year. So they're technically in compliance. When they filled out their May 15, 2023 numbers, that's where you see they had 162 employees for $9.3 million. So this year to date, they're down 9 employees for $1.1 million. So that led me to ask them, what's going on? In January of this year, they made the difficult decision to phase out production of their hot wound operations. That's basically their Plant 2. Plant 2 is down there by the old El Tipwa, what is that, 6th Street, right there on 6th Street. So they made the decision to shut that down. The shrinking market, it wasn't financially sustainable. Their plan was by June of 2023 this year, they were going to lay off 22 people. As you can tell they've gone from 184 to 162, so they're right on their projections. I guess the good and the bad thing is, bad for Chicago, good for us. They're closing a plant in Chicago for very similar reasons. But what they're going to do is transfer a lot of the work from Chicago to Logansport. It'll bring 70 new accounts, which will be about $1.6 million in sales to Logansport. And what they're going to do over the next 2 to 4 months is they're trying to hire back all 22 of those people. Now, what I can't promise you is they may have moved on. They may say, I don't want to come back. They may have got a job at Myers Spring. But bottom line is they're attempting to hire them back, those 22 employees. So basically, if you look at a snapshot of 21 to 22, which is what the compliance is supposed to be, they went from 171 to 184, 9.5 million to 9.8 million in wages. But to be transparent, in 2023, they have laid off 22 people, but their goal is to bring them all back. I tried to get more information on Matthew Warren in case to help with their decision. I like the fact that they're trying to find an alternative use for that plant. That's a good thing, I believe, for Logansport. They are a top 10 employer in Logansport. They're a top 10 user of LMU. They do own 28 parcels of land in Logansport. They have 5 plants scattered throughout Logansport. I was trying to add up what they pay in property taxes, but it is over $100,000. And with their $9.5 million payroll, they do pay into CEDAT, which is about $25,000 a year, and they've never used it. So just a few factors to consider. I think this is in their next to last year of abatement. So my initial thoughts are, and you can do what you want, 21 to 22 actually had an increase. So if anything, you would deny it next year when these layoffs kick in. It's just my thought. And again, this is the only company we have a public hearing on, so the other 10 are basically approved. I did send a summary of the all 11 combined to kind of show you why I think abatements work. Those 11 companies add up to 3,007 employees and about $157 million payroll. Since we started the abatements, those numbers have gone up over 100 people for over $53 million. If you deny, here's how it works. If you deny Matthew Warren's abatement this year, what we have to do is we would have to do a specific resolution denying them only. It's not just not including them in the overall resolution for everybody else. We would have to specifically do a resolution, deny them. We have to send it to Matthew Warren. We have to send it to the auditor, and we have to send it to the assessor. So we can still do that. I just want to let you know the process.
Well, I read somewhere they were on there last year, so are we sure it's
So-
two?
We don't know. We have no control of that. It's up to the assessor. This is their 5th year of 5 years. But the first year they delayed it, so they didn't use it the first year.
Okay.
So they technically can have one more year if the assessor approves it. But it's completely in their hands. My estimate is this abatement for this year is approximately worth,
I saw it was like 8,000.
yeah, I sent it in one of the emails. I think it's like
8,400.
$8,354 is my estimate.
Is it, I know when we talked, you mentioned that you weren't aware of them moving their jobs until after the fact.
The Plant 2 kind of caught me off guard, yes.
Is that normal? I mean, is that
No, it's
something
not.
those companies would do, or?
Well, I don't think I'm first on their list to call when they're going through problems, but typically I would hear about it. So we say they closed it, but they did not close it. They're using it for other things. What it did affect was the 22 people. And no, I was not told up front about that. After I heard about it, I called them, they told me, but no, they didn't give me the heads up.
For a public hearing, are they not expected to show up?
I don't know when it was Thursday we did this, and the people that had any local leverage are out of town. And I said, just give me as much information as you can. So I've been working with Jamie Rudisell, who's their HR manager.
So tell me again what they're expecting to do with the Chicago.
They are, they're closing the plant in Chicago for similar reasons of the layoffs here. Part of the plan is to transfer production from the closing facility in Chicago to their campus in Logansport. Transfer will bring approximately 60 to 70 new accounts, which is about 1.6 million in incremental sales, which are currently not being produced in Logansport. Due to this, they anticipate potentially needing to add some salaried employees, which will enable them to be calling back the 22 people that are laid off, to gradually phase them in production over the next 2 to 4 months.
So it sounds like they're moving that stuff in the real near future.
Yeah. Next 2 to 4 months. The thing with our abatements, this is what's tricky, is with our tax rate being over 5% and the caps at 3%, I want to say when we do an abatement, it basically puts us in a more competitive position with other lower tax counties. Yes, it's an incentive that I appreciate we do for them, but it really just gets the numbers in alignment with Carroll County, Miami County, Boone County, places like that. Because Logansport is a just over 5% tax rate.
Amy, what do you think?
I think approve it this year and see if they really add that.
Larry, what do you?
I'm for approving it. I've seen a whole lot worse over the last 7.5 years. I've seen a company that didn't even want to come down here and talk to us. They wanted us to go to their facility so they wouldn't have to face the public. So this is very minor compared to what's came up in the past. I'm for it.
I'm for approving.
Hopefully that they bring some of those jobs to Logansport. I mean,
Haley?
I
Yeah.
agree with what Amy said.
Okay. We'll move forward. The end, close the public hearing.
public hearing
All right. Does anyone have any questions about the other tax abatements that you reviewed? Okay.
And I prepared the resolution and sent it to, I believe, Dave and Dwayne.
Tax abatements, yeah, it's in the
Actually,
packet, Bill.
yeah, for the meeting right after this.
Yes, uh-huh.
It's in the packet.
Okay, thanks, Bill.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Bill.
I know that took a bit of
It takes, we do have a company that's not on this list, which is a good thing, we'll do next month. They've been chosen to do a large investment, and it's going to be a $12 to $15 million new investment for Logansport. And yes, they want to do an abatement, so I'll be back. It's A. Ramon. Their numbers are looking much better.
All right, we have the resolution for the FAST Act. We talked about this at the last committee meeting, and quite honestly, we weren't sure if we had to do anything to move that money or not, so Dwayne discussed it with the State Board of Accounts, and he wrote up, just to protect us, a resolution stating what we had already said before, but wanted to make sure it was clear. We didn't transfer money in 2022 into the FAST Act Transportation Grant Fund for the second project because of the funding numbers, and those were corrected, but the wording wasn't, in the second resolution wasn't quite right. So Dwayne's written this up again. This is basically to move money that we've approved for the sidewalk projects around the schools. This is the second phase of that. And so if we get that moved over, we'll have our funding up to speed for the rest of this year. And that amounts to $74,460. You guys, any thoughts?
I'm good with it. Do we know when phase one is supposed to kick in?
5, I believe.
Yeah.
Isn't that right, Jacob? 25 for phase 1 and 26 for phase 2?
Yeah, their budget year started in June or something, so it's like June of 25 and June of 26. Yeah.
There was also an option, I think, too, wasn't it, of speeding them up? Like if we started phase 1 and we got enough done, we could go into phase 2 right away, I think, without waiting an extra year.
State's getting a lot of phase one done for us.
Yeah.
So, everybody all right with moving that forward? Okay.
And just so you're clear, that's not additional money, that was just money that you've already previously approved, we're just moving it now. So it's not like they're asking for more money. It's already been approved.
All right, we had Jan's Park resolutions for the pop machines and the food vendors, and also her transfer of appropriations. Everybody all right with moving that forward, I assume? Okay. Dwayne, you want to talk about the wire transfers?
Yeah, the wire transfer is pretty straightforward. We've had a number of times over the last 6 months with all the bonding that's gone on, all the major projects, police station, so on, where we've had to move money for fairly large amounts, where we're just doing it by wire transfer. Good example was RDC bought the Chase Davis Road was 700,000, whatever. That had to be transferred for the title to be cleared. So we had the ability in our banking system to do the wire transfers, but I needed permission from the council to be able to do that. That's the food vendors. So basically, I wrote up a resolution that allows us to give me permission to, when needed, to transfer money to those accounts or from those accounts to wherever they need to go. And like I said, it's various accounts. We've paid Bose McKinney for some work and some others, and it's basically approving that I can do that somewhere in there. And there's no funds involved or no amounts listed. It just says I have the ability to transfer money from one of the specific accounts that we have set up for wiring to a transfer account. And it's done through your approval. So in other words, I can't just decide, hey, I want to go wire $100,000 to Bill. The money still has to go through council, but I'll have the ability then to wire it from one bank to another for that.
So is the bank actually doing the processing? You're giving the bank permission?
Right, I set up the transfer myself. The bank does, yes, the wire, and there's a $25 fee for the transfer. And I believe the way I worded that if you approve a wire transfer, that transfer fee comes from the transfer account automatically.
Ask that because.
So, if we're paying $500,000 to somebody from our general fund, then automatically $25 will be included in that wire transfer fund when you approve that amount.
So cybersecurity, there's a lot of.
Yeah.
So if it's from the bank, that would be on their end. If the bank is
That's all I'm asking for. I'm just asking for that ability to do that transfer. So it basically makes the State Board of Accounts realize that I have the authority to do it. Keeps them from writing me up for anything else.
Everyone. You guys good with that? Jonathan? Larry? Okay, we'll move that forward. And that brings us to the next public hearing, Dwayne.
So we're going to start our last public hearing for the appropriating $675,000 from the MVH fund to the Community Crossing Matching Grant 283. I don't know if you want to say anything on that, Dwayne.
Yeah, and that's just, again, that's the money that you guys have already approved, or you're trying to approve for the Psychic Street project. We need to move $675,000 into our Community Crossings grant to match that amount that's been given already by the state. This will pay off our construction for that.
Half of the match.
So, yeah, or our half, yes, our half of that. The state's already providing 675,000 for the other half. So, and this is coming out of the MVH, the 203, which is the restricted fund.
Any council members have any comments on this, or anyone from the audience? If not, we'll close the public hearing at 6:22.
Okay. A couple other just information. A while back, we contributed, we supported Squeal on the Eel, and we told Stephanie Helton that the tickets and shirts and stuff that we got for being sponsors, we donated those to Emmaus. And Jason Mitchell called the other day to let me know that made 18 people pretty happy. So they used all the tickets that we sent over, and wanted people to know that. And that's all I've got. I'll close the Finance Committee meeting at 6:23.
We're going to 7-minute break.
Yep, 7 minutes. To 11.
What? I got them at home. I usually do it. Stick them in there later. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that.
Council President Jake Ladon, forgot that part. We're going to start with roll call.
Amy Dinsmore,
Present?
Larry Hood,
Present.
Jonathan Nelms,
Present.
Jake Don,
Present.
Scott Petey, absent. Kelly Zinsmaster,
Present.
Dave Morris.
Present.
All right. We have no minutes to approve and no comments. So any reports from committees, boards, and commissions?
Mr. President, today, June 26th, the Planning and Economic Development Committee met regarding the capital improvement program that was moved forward to the special meeting tonight.
Are we approving the minutes? Or-
We're going to approve those at the next council meeting.
Okay, so not, okay.
Yeah.
Parks Department meeting met this evening, right before this meeting, to discuss food trucks and soda pop increase, and water.
Jake, what did you say a minute ago?
The approval of minutes, we're just going to do that at the next council meeting.
Thank you. Okay, Finance also met at 6 o'clock tonight. We had topics that included public hearing for Matthew Warren, 10 other abatements, companies that had abatements that we reviewed, FAST Act funding, Parks Department increases for POP, and establishing fees for food trucks, and fund transfers, and the ability to do wire transfers. And I believe all of those are on tonight's agenda.
We have old business, which is ordinance 2023-17. Councilman John Nelms.
Ordinance 2023-17, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Logansport, Indiana, appropriating an additional $675,000 from the restricted MVH Fund number 203 for the Community Crossings Matching Grant Fund number 283 for the completion of the South Psychic Street paving project. Mr. President, I ask for a vote on ordinance 2023-17 on its second reading.
Second.
Okay. Any council comment or comments from the public? Seeing none, I'll have a vote on ordinance 2023-17.
Dave Morris,
Yes?
Amy Dinsmore,
Yes.
Larry Hood,
Yes.
Jake Ladon,
Yes.
Haley Zinsmaster,
Yes.
Jonathan Nelms.
Yes.
Is approved.
Okay.
On the second reading.
Is approved on the second reading. 6-0. We're going to move on to new business, resolution 2023-119. Councilman Hood.
Resolution 2023-119 is a resolution of the Common Council of the City of Logansport, Indiana, approving the ability to make wire transfers by the clerk treasurer of the City of Logansport. Council President, temporarily, I'm asking for a vote on resolution 2023-119.
Second?
We have a second. Any comments? Seeing none, we'll have a vote on resolution 2023-119.
Jonathan Nelms,
Yes.
Haley Zinsmaster,
Yes.
Amy Dinsmore,
Yes.
Jake Ladon,
Yes.
Larry Hood,
Yes.
Dave Morris.
Yes.
6-0.
Resolution 2023-119 passes 6-0. And resolution 2023-120, Councilwoman Densmore.
Resolution 2023-120, a resolution of the Common Council of the City of Logansport, Indiana, transferring appropriations for the Parks Department. I'd like to move resolution 2023-120 forward.
Second. Second.
Any comment on resolution 2023-120? Seeing none, we'll have a vote.
Jonathan Nelms,
Yes.
Jake Ladon,
Yes.
Amy Dinsmore,
Yes.
Larry Hood,
Yes.
Haley Zinsmaster,
Yes.
Dave Morris.
Yes.
6-0.
Passes 6-0 on the first reading. Resolution 2023-121, Councilwoman Zinsmaster.
Resolution 2023-121, a resolution of the Common Council of the City of Logansport, Indiana, approving $74,460 to be placed in the FAST Act Transportation Grant Fund Phase 2. And I would ask to move this resolution 2023-121 forward for a vote.
Second.
Discussion on resolution 2023-121. Seeing none, we'll have a vote.
Amy Dinsmore,
Yes.
Dave Morris,
Yes.
Jonathan Nelms,
Yes.
Jake Ladon,
Yes.
Larry Hood,
Yes.
Haley Zinsmaster.
Yes.
6-0.
Resolution 2023-121 passes 6-0, first reading. Resolution 2023-122, Councilman Morris.
Resolution 2023-122, a resolution of the Common Council of the City of Logansport regarding continued tax abatements for companies in compliance with their statement of benefits. I'd move this forward for a vote.
Second.
Any comment on resolution 2023-122?
Just thanks, Bill, for all your work on this. I know it's a project just collecting it all each year, so thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Bill.
Thanks, Bill.
Are you ready for a vote?
Hang on a second. Dave made the motion.
Yeah.
Who's second? Jonathan, okay.
All right. Ready for a vote on resolution 2023-122?
Dave Morris,
Yes.
Larry Hood,
Yes.
Jake Ladon,
Yes.
Amy Dinsmore,
Yes.
Haley Zinsmaster,
Yes.
Jonathan Nelms.
Yes.
6-0.
Resolution 2023-122 passes 6-0, first reading. Yeah.
Only reading. It's a
Okay.
resolution.
the only reading. Resolution 2023-123, Councilman Nelms.
Resolution 2023-123, a resolution of the Common Council of the City of Logansport, Indiana, approving the City of Logansport Capital Improvement Program for 2024 through 2027. Mr. President, I ask for a vote on Resolution 2023-123.
Second.
Comment on resolution 2023-123.
Just thank Aaron for putting it all together every year.
All right. Love.
Haley Zinsmaster,
Yes.
Jake Ladon,
Yes.
Dave Morris,
Yes.
Jonathan Nelms,
Yes.
Amy Dinsmore,
Yes.
Larry Hood.
Yes.
6-0.
Ordinance 2023-18, Councilman Hood.
Ordinance 2023-18 is an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Logansport, Indiana, approving amended park fees established by ordinance 2022-05. Council President, I'm asking for a first vote on ordinance 2023-18.
Second.
Any comment? Seeing none, we'll have the first vote on ordinance 2023-18.
Jonathan Nelms,
Yes.
Dave Morris,
Yes.
Haley Zinsmaster,
Yes.
Larry Hood,
Yes.
Amy Dinsmore,
Yes.
Jake Ladon.
Yes.
Council President, we're going to ask that we suspend the rules and do a second reading of ordinance 2023-18.
I have a,
I second.
all right. We'll have a vote on the suspension.
second here to get caught up. Dave Morris,
Yes.
Haley Zinsmaster,
Yes.
Amy Dinsmore,
Yes.
Jake Ladon,
Yes.
Larry Hood,
Yes.
Jonathan Nelms.
Yes. Mr. President, I ask for a vote on ordinance 2023-18 on its second reading.
Second.
Call for a vote.
Jake Ladon,
Yes.
Haley Zinsmaster,
Yes.
Amy Dinsmore,
Yes.
Dave Morris,
Yes.
Jonathan Nelms,
Yes.
Larry Hood.
Yes.
Start with second reading.
Ordinance 2023-18 passes 6-0 on the second reading. Now, move on to public comments.
I've got 5 updates, I just need 2 minutes. Lexington Village, you probably see everything tore up. We finally got to that point. F&K is doing it, and it'll take this whole construction season to do the infrastructure. As a reminder, the funding is, we did a housing TIF district bond, and we did ready money. So we didn't use any council money, but you approved us to be able to do those things. Mr. Lehman and I are working on an agreement. We have a developer that I think everybody will like. I know they will. Once we get that completed, we can announce who they are. We're afraid to announce it before the agreement because people are going to want to know pricing, square footage, and all that. I'm getting a ton of inquiries. I've had at least 10 in the last week of people wanting to know all the intricate details of how do they sign up. So I'm hoping it takes off. The Riverside, the event center, you remember a long time ago, you guys appropriated $750,000 of ARPA money to build a parking lot. I said, trust me, we have a private developer. You did trust me. And we announced who they were. Matt and Katya Swisher, Andrew and Amy Miller, John Michael and Amy Price, Becky and Sean DeWitt, and Matt and Jen Llewellyn. So 5 local families. We're going to do a private development event center. Dykeman won the bid to do the infrastructure, the parking lot. It'll start July 5th. It'll be less than 6 weeks and it'll be over with and done. We wanted to wait till after the fireworks show to start that. That's a great thing. It should be open in spring of 2024. Jason Davis, you gave us support for the annexation. We closed on the property June 15th, so RDC owns the property. That's a done deal. We've already started the annexation process with Bose McKinney, so that'll take about 5 weeks. I'm only bringing this up because I get a lot of questions about Dunkin' Donuts and Jimmy John's. They are 2 to 3 weeks out on having their construction drawings completed, so we can get it to Rob and Aaron and State and all that. So that's still a go. It's just slower than we thought, but they're finishing up their construction drawings. And the last update is we're getting a lot of hotel inquiries. Ever since they see the Home to Suites going crazy out there, we have a lot of people knocking our door down and the mayor's office. With that, we went to the Visitors Bureau and we requested a new hotel study to be done. And we're looking at the East End, we're looking at downtown, and we're looking at the Ivy Tech area. Bank financing for hotels, the hotels could not bring their own study in. They have to have an independent group do it. So instead of coming to you asking for money, we went to the Visitors Bureau, and they're going to fund it. So I'm hoping it's a downtown boutique hotel. We'll see, but that's what's going on.
Thanks, Bill.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.
Any other public comments? Doesn't look like it. Any council member comments?
I'd just like to welcome Councilwoman Zinsmaster. Look forward to working with you and getting to know you.
Thank you.
All right.
I'm glad Bill addressed the Dunkin' Donuts. I've been wondering about it.
All right. Any other council comments? All right.
Just one real quick, Jake.
Okay.
Dwayne and I have kind of put the calendar together for the budget season, so I'll be getting that out to everybody real quick.
Okay. All right, sounds good. Better hustle. Yeah, it started raining out there. All right. Any miscellaneous business and any matters not already considered, including ADA Section 504 compliance or concerns?
Make a motion to adjourn.
I second. All right. We're adjourned.
No, you got to
No.
call for a vote.
Damn. Sorry. Excuse my language. Call for a vote.
Jake Madon,
Yes.
Jonathan Nelms,
Yes.
Amy Densmore,
Yes.
Larry Hood,
Yes.
Haley Zinsmaster,
Yes.
Dave Morris.
Yes.
Now you're.
All right, now we're adjourned. Have a nice night, everyone.
That was a lesson. But yes, it's